Continuing our series on doing player reviews, we're diving into DeAndre Swift, the new Philadelphia Eagle who will be sporting the number 0. He'll be Nero, burnished down. But we'll see what kind of impact he can have in Philadelphia. And, of course, there's a caveat or two. What's up? It's your boy Cintron. Come back after another analysis / news video. And I kid you not, that's my real name. And like I said, Eagles player review, running back DeAndre Swift edition. So he was brought in via a draft day trade for a 7th round pick and a 4th round pick, and I think the 2025 draft. So, I mean, that's years away. Don't have to worry about it. I mean, yeah, it is a mid pick, being a 4th rounder, but if he plays up to the expectation and maybe even gets a contract renewal or extension in the interim, this will be a win. So let's look at what he can do. So they looked at all his rushing attempts and his targets. I'm not gonna do that. I kind of got a feel for him, especially seeing him up close and personal on week 1 when he gashed us for 144 yards total, maybe. But yeah, looking at his rushes over the past 3 years and his targets. So you can see that, he hasn't been billed with a lot. The most being in 2021 when he had 151 rushes for 617 yards, 4.1 average went down. So, he's best when used sparingly. And he got hurt last year, and it greatly impacted his game. Yes, he did have his best average, and he was very explosive, but that was kind of over the course of the first, slate of games. He got hurt, tailed off because he was injured and ailing. Couldn't be his usual self, and then towards the latter part of the year, he was able to pick it back up once he, regenerated enough. And he's always been targeted in the receiving game. You see he's averaging about, 50 receptions a year. And, the yards aren't huge, but, I mean, they are decent, though. Yards per catch, 7.8, 7.3, 8.1. Career high last year as well, hit in the running game and the through the air. And also TDs, so, across the board, he's hitting career best. But, he's an effective weapon, but not quite like a Bijan Robinson. If we would have gotten him, he would have been a Marshall Faulk-esque player at that position, being able to, threaten. I mean, not threaten with 1,000 receiving yards with him being the fourth or fifth, potentially even 6th option in the passing game. Being maybe looked at primarily as an outlet, but in games where we could really isolate and pinpoint weaknesses in a team's secondary, in their strategy, in their coverage, and against players that would be exposed versus him, his great soft hands would have been a great option to go to, but that's all for naught because he's not here. But anyways, that's just a caveat. We'll get to it later. Anyways, explosiveness. You can see, like I said, from the numbers, and he's great at, being decisive. You wouldn't think, it, given his stature, given his speed, but he does, follow the script and, hit the creases and, trust, the lanes that, he sees available. Maybe he, chooses from 3, A gap, B gap, and, cut back. But he's not apt to dance around the line, which was a problem that Miles Sanders had, too often. He did, he was like, I think 5'11", 5'10", and around 210, 213, but 214, but he didn't really use that, size to his advantage. Well, he, got caught up in being too much of an east-west guy instead of getting north and south, taking the yards that were there, leaving too much meat on the bone. And, left maybe 200, 300 yards on the table last year. And, just with the kind of line we have affording you that kind of space, you got to take some of those hits, and, be able to cover yourself and cut back and have that extra level of vision. And he just either didn't trust, didn't have the vision, or, just was trying to play hero ball. So, can't have that. And maybe one of the reasons why, he wasn't re-signed, maybe not a huge one, but, just they thought they could improve on the position, bringing in someone else. So, here we are. But yeah, he got hurt, and obviously, he took a hit there. You can see the first couple weeks, like I said, 144 yards, 9.6. He murked us. But thereafter, with the injury, he was inactive, and then 1.25, but only on 2 carries, so you can really discount that. 5 of 20 on a 4 average, and 3.8. But then starts to show some signs of life. Vikings maybe played him tough, or he made mistakes, or the line erred. But after that, you see kind of more consistent production, and it takes that uptick back up. It ticks back up. So you can see there's a huge difference, and this is the worry bringing him in, and he's an insurance policy. They're both an insurance policy on each other. Swift and Rashard Penny, because they both didn't play full slate of games last year. With Penny having even less, he played 5 games or 6 games, I believe. I think it was 5, but he had explosive numbers. Like a 5.5 average, or like 6. I think 6.1 per carry, but he was not available for the majority of the season. So, and that's been the case every season he's played, especially the last 3 years. He's played a total of 18 games, which is not even a season. This is barely a season and then a playoff game. So it's just pathetic. But the vision, like I said, he has it. Being able to set up second and third level defenders. So he's thinking of the next move. He's able to string moves together and able to have the vision to see what he wants to do, and he's thinking already of how he wants to manipulate the next guy that potentially is coming in. So that that's great ability. Guys that can create after contact, or make guys miss, and make the initial guy miss. Great ability to have. You don't want a guy just constantly taking contact, getting hit. That's gonna dull his effectiveness and wear him down over the course of the year. But he chooses the correct crease, which is great, because Miles Sanders just erred in that regard, and it just sad, because you see something that could have developed, or you just take the 4 to 5 yards or a tough 3 yards that are there in front of you, instead of trying to dance and then getting 1 yard minimal gain or loss of yardage, and just creates negative plays, and also puts us in bad down and distances to begin with second down. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball. It has to put a lot of pressure on the other guys to pick up the slack, or him when they go back to him, or other guys that come in to spell him. So you want guys that are if not getting just forward progress, or getting what's given to them, to sacrifice for later in the game, or lay down cutback lanes, or the play action game. They're really setting other guys up for success, or themselves up for later in the game, where they can take advantage of what the defense has been seeing and betray that track record you laid down. So tackle breaking, he has a good job with that. Short yardage, I don't think we're going to depend on him on that, even though we possibly could. He's not a slightly built guy. He's pretty solidly built, but we're kind of on him to be elusive more so than to be a pounder. I think Rashard Penny, you could label him for that, but also I'm worried about him staying healthy as well. So it's good to have a platoon of these guys, with also game of the third down back, and then Boston Scott in emergency purposes / Giants games. All right, receiving. Here's where, like I said, he shines. He has about 50 yards, 50 catches a year. But the yards per target is down, so it shows that he isn't really running that full route tree. Like I said, but Bijan Robinson would be coming in. There's no route that he couldn't run. And there's some routes ideally that you don't want your running back running, like routes you're gonna give to your receivers, but he could run those and wouldn't be limited in that regard, which just opens up the offense, triple, double, fourfold, which makes you makes you multiple, and makes you that much harder to game plan for and to defend, because when you're not really limited by what the player can do, they have to contemplate and compute into the plans all of the possibilities and the potential. So the options are unlimited. Mr. Unlimited, as Russell Wilson, Simp Wilson would say. But yeah, they say he's an upgrade or Miles Sanders, but to me he's equivalent, maybe a little bit slightly under rookie Miles Sanders, who had 50 catches for 500 yards and a handful of touchdowns. I think maybe 4 touchdowns. But why that that part of his game disappeared when new coaching staff came in, I have no flipping idea. I think they just didn't really trust him. Even though he put that on his resume on tape, and it was there for the world to see. Not only our team, but 31 other teams, and the Panthers obviously picked up on that. I'll be interested to see if they get back to using him as a receiving target in Carolina, because they do have the old coordinator that he played under during his rookie year. So we'll see how that goes. But that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, Miles Sanders, they haven't. Not Miles Sanders. Sorry. DeAndre Swift, they haven't running a lot of short routes. Texas routes. They do use them as wheel routes, but these aren't really like. I mean, maybe potentially some option routes, but they aren't really advanced routes. They low level to intermediate routes, but they aren't really the ones that are going to really put a defense in a schematic conundrum. It's more of like just individually, slash zone areas. Can they defend them? Versus, oh man, these are complex combination routes where they're really kind of dictating coverage like severely. So, like I said, there's that cap on that, ceiling on that. But he is an upgrade to last year's Miles Sanders, and if they target him, which I think the new old coordinator Johnson will do, I'll take it. But I'm not as excited as I would have been if it would have been Mr. Robinson back there, and that would have been his neighborhood. But yeah, it's cool. The screen game is, like I said, like they're saying, is what they really wanted to target, and it'll be effective with that. But that's still more like of a low intermediate to high level advanced. High level basic, area that you're targeting there. But he's good in that regard, so I'll give him that. Ball security, about the same as Sanders. Doesn't fumble a tremendous amount, so he can be trusted there. Like I said, it's a compact frame. Hopefully he runs behind his pads and low to the ground, and stays consistent with that. Pass protection, yeah. He fourth in pass protection. You don't think it, given his frame, but he puts it. He puts his nose to the grindstone, and obviously he has good technique and goes out there and plays, which it shows it's not all about size; it's about the technique. So it's good to have a back there that's not a liability, who can be trusted. But overall, yeah, I like I said, he adds a new dimension, but it's not like the exponential dimension I would have hoped for had we got Robinson. But I definitely will take it. He's an upgrade. He becomes our first string back, and him and Penny, if they both stay healthy, that is the caveat. If they both stay healthy, can do massive damage this year. And definitely him running the option alongside Jalen Hurts will give other teams fits, and hopefully he can be consistent. And he'll help himself out. He's in a contract year as well. So, all right, let's get to some other news around the league. Devontae Adams, the wide receiver coming from the Green Bay Packers to the Las Vegas Raiders. Still feels weird to say that. Him and the head coach and the GM are not seeing eye to eye because, of course, they got rid of his boy, Derek Carr. Sent him off to the Saints, and I think was he a free agent? I think he was a free agent when he went over there, and that's not where he saw it when he saw things headed when he was traded over from the Green Bay Packers for a hefty price and a big extension, I might add. But still, it's Devontae. You didn't see the writing on the wall that they weren't really sold on Carr. You were really fooling yourself, and then you let the money kind of talk you into that decision, and you got to take the good with the bad. It is what it is. Titans, Trevon Burks, who knocked out the game last year. Loved it, but I didn't love to see him get hurt. But, love to see they hit him with that heavy hit. He's playing faster. Says he can breathe. The biggest jump most players take is from year 1 to year 2 in the league, and we'll see what he can do. But he is he will always be compared to A.J. Brown there in Tennessee because they foolishly traded him. They could have had him as a second receiver, and that maybe had a dynamic offense, but, the future was different, I'm thankful for one that, how he was able to fleece the Titans, and hopefully he's able to do so in the future trades as well. Hey, we love you, Titans. All right, let's see. We're not talking about the Burrow extension. We know he's gonna get paid. let's get to one more piece of news by way of the Eagles. Or I should say 2 pieces of news. The Eagles signed another wide receiver, Rambo, and I'm not talking about the movie with Sylvester Stallone. He played with Jalen Hurts, and it's been like Gate City Sports had a great video that he tracked how many people had like 6 degrees of separation, how many people had a relationship or had some kind of connection with Jalen Hurts. And it was interesting. I didn't know Grant Calcaterra, played with him at one point or like he crossed paths at programs. But, there's another guy that bringing in that, potentially that Jalen could, make use of. He's on the smaller side, despite his name being Rambo, running in all wild with reckless abandon. He runs a 4.55. Maybe runs decent routes, but, I'm more favorable towards Nagata, a guy who's been said to have Alshon Jeffrey resemblance, and Hasselwood, 6'2", 215, could play in the slot. 4.5, more quick than fast, but hey, if he runs decent routes, man, he could be a upgrade and play, potentially play in that Zach Pascal role, which is much needed in his offense. It's dirty work, but it's still a needed job. It's like blue collar jobs, and women don't want guys with blue collar jobs, but those are what make America go. So we wouldn't be able to function without that, and similarly so without Zach Pascal, doing the dirty work. Other receivers when they be free to shine. So. All right, last thing we'll get to today is Miles Jack. ESPN predicts that he'll sign with the Eagles. I would love that, man. It'd be a great depth signing. This guy was a 2nd-round pick coming into the league via the Jaguars. Didn't work out there. Went to the Steelers last year. Didn't work out there as well. 104 tackles. Had a knee injury coming into the league, and that kind of dinged his draft stock. Was supposed to be a 1st-rounder. Played up to that draft status though, even though just being a potential 1st-rounder, but definitely a 2nd-rounder. Still a young guy, 27, could add serious depth and maybe compete for a starting job, maybe take Nick Morrow's job, but not going to sign for that much. He had a down year last year, and I'd love to bring in a guy. Like, I don't like our depth at all behind our starters, Nicholas Morrow and Nakobe Dean, who's been elevated. Still don't know what we're going to get from him in his inaugural year as a starter. So we shall see how things play out. But yeah, man, that's it for the video today. But I know you're not even watching though, but it's all good. I love making these videos. As I always say, another thing I always say, as always, it's fly, Eagles fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.